Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing another What's It Worth. And as you can see by the little wisp and maybe a little bit of the silhouette that's popping in and out, we're going to be covering over what's standing right behind me being none other than the Gamma NOLI METRONETTE. Now this bad boy was actually caught by yours truly on day 2 of hunting. Now I haven't made a short or video like I said I probably would have. So here's just my little reaction and we're just going to cut straight into that.
Oh my god, my mic wasn't on, holy sh, holy sh, holy sh. Holy shit!
Yeah, that was pretty chaotic. I mean, it was relatively around 3 or 4 in the morning on a college night, so just bear that in mind. But before we go into any of the actual facts, I want you guys to keep everything I say with a grain of salt. And I know Cleon has already made another video about this, and this will go in regards to anyone who does these type of videos, not just me, Cleon, anyone else. Everything will be subject to change, be it if I'm the one recording the video, if someone else is recording a video, the value will change over time. That's just how things work. But that being said, we can see this standing at a whopping 1 in 81,920 chance to find in the wild. And this for its demand, we can see this being around almost good to great demand with about almost 60 GR as the lowest to about almost 65 GR to the highest. Now with all this information taken account for, let's get straight into the trading process. All right, let's go in the chat and type in looking for offers on Gamma NOLI METRONETTE, and boom. And now let's wait for offers. All right, and our first trade request is coming from Chicken Goo 1233. So let's see what Chicken has to trade with us today. So we start off with a Gleaming Halloween Black Dust Get Pure Nimble, a Gleaming Halloween Pink Dust Get Pure Nimble, a Gamma METRONETTE Pure Nimble, and a Gamma Weevil Dull Brawny. And without having to ask, Chicken did just say my final offer. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? This trade is going to push towards a massive thumbs up. Do keep in mind this is going to be a little bit more of an overpay, but it will be a justified one because the GG Nolis are pretty solid right now. Though be it, I will say the second Gleaming Halloween Dust Kit might be overkill. If it were bad nature, understandable, but this one's going to be pure nimble. Overall, we can see the Gleaming Halloween Black at almost 45, the pink at about 40, Gamma METRONETTE itself around almost 25 GR with about great demand. And before I do actually conclude this trade, Chicken did just say, oh, you found one yourself? Nice, W video Warclipes. So thank you, Chicken. I appreciate the support, and not just from you, from everyone else. So major shout outs to everyone that's actually watching up to this point or has been watching for the past few videos. Major hearts to all of y'all. But with this being said, let's get into our next trade. All right, and the next trade request is coming from Lucas Gamer 20512. So let's see what Lucas has to trade with us today. So we start off with the Gamma Aviary Gargolem Pure Nimble, a Gamma White Cosmere Pure Clever, a Gleam Crispus Nevermare, Brownie Clumsy, and it does seem like this may be Lucas's final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. All right, so Lucas and I have been talking, and Lucas did just ask like any here, so they just want to see if I do like anything here, and I just said solid. You know, I'm not gonna give a yes, no, right? So just to give an unbiased response, I asked, is this your final offer? To which they said, I think so. So this being said, is this trade worth it? Now, personally speaking, this trade will have to push towards an E/L. The main reason I say E/L is simply because of the fact that the Gamma Gargolem is gonna be around almost 30 GR with bad demand, whereas the Gamma White Cosmere is gonna be around almost 40 GR with good demand, more likely. And then we finally have the Gleam Christmas Nevermare, which is gonna be around almost 11 GR with bad demand. So since we already have 2 Loomians with bad demand, we're gonna say this is closer to an E, but then again, in terms of value, it will be a W. But realistically, like I said before, demand is the biggest key here, so I'll give it an E/L. That being said, let's get into our next trade. All right, and the next trade request is coming from Shanri Boy. So let's see what Shanri has to trade with us today. So we start off with the Gamma Halloween Boneki Pure Nimble, a Gleam Xmas METRONETTE, Brownie Clumsy, Gleam Pink Cosmere Hyper Foolish, Gleam Halloween Bun Puff Pure Nimble, and it does seem like this may be Shanri's final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. All right, so I did just confirm with Shanri, who did just say, yeah? I'm guessing yeah. So with that confirmation, it does seem like this is gonna be Shanri's final trade. So with that being said, is this trade worth it? This trade has got to be a major thumbs down, and main reason is simply due to the fact that we're not working with a lot of GR and great demand here. Simply put, Gleaming Halloween Bun Puff and Gamma Halloween Bun Puff aren't the strongest. We see the Gamma at the almost 8 to 12 GR range, the Gleam barely pushing 2 GR range. Gleam Cosmere is gonna be around pretty bad demand since this one is Hyper Foolish, and the Gleam Xmas METRONETTE is gonna be pretty bad, about almost 5 to 6 GR since it does have bad nature. That being said, let's get straight into our next trade. All right, our next trade request is coming from Johnny XDY BVHH. Let's see what Johnny has to trade with us today. All right, so we start off with the Gamma Zulong Indifferent, a Gleam NOLI METRONETTE Pure Nimble, a Gleam Halloween Bun Puff Pure Nimble, a Gleam Leopard Frail Nimble, a Gleam Halloween Wild Owl Pure Nimble, a Gleam Blueberry Swirl Tender Smart, Gleam Shachi Pure Smart, bunch of PvPs being the Oxy Drake, the Tatab, Tundralin, Luminami, Violana, Lashent, Cosmere, Picolio, and they're just gonna add in a lot more. We also had the Solnecta Pure Nimble, the Snagoop, which is also gonna be PvP, SA Proteon, which is gonna be Pure Nimble, Gleam Cephalops Frail Smart, and a whole ton of Loomians that they're gonna add. So we're just gonna give them a sec, let them figure out what they want to offer, and with that being said, we'll cut straight to that. All right, so John and I were talking, and John did say, yep, all that I guess, while keeping these Loomians right here. So we have the Gamma Zulong, the Gleam NOLI Metro, the SA Proto, the PvP Cephalops, and all these other ones are PvP as well. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? Personally, this trade has got to be a major thumbs down. down. Main reason is because of the fact that the GR we're working with here is not going to be very strong. In terms of demand, yes, PvP is good, but it's not like we're working with GSA or GGSA PvPs, for instance. Pretty straightforward answer. We're not working with a ton of GR, and that being said, it's going to be less than 15 GR at the very highest. With all this being said, now let's get into our next and final trade. All right, and the next and final trade request is coming from 3373_vibes. Let's see what Vibes has to trade with us today. So we start off with a Gleam Protogun, pure nimble, a Gleam Ikazune, pure nimble, a Gleam Cosmillion, pure clever, another one, hyper foolish, Gleamy Halloween Bun Puff, clumsy clever, Gamma Halloween Kapoink, pure nimble, Gleam Odiaga, pure nimble, Gleamy Halloween Kapoink, pure nimble, another one, pure nimble, Gleam Celestine, tender smart, Gleam Nevermare, hyper sluggish. And it does seem like this may be Vibes' final offer, but I'll quickly check in a second. Vibes did just say yes. So with this being said, is this trade worth it? It's pretty self-explanatory, but unfortunately this trade would have to push towards a thumbs down. Do keep in mind that the Gleam Protogun at the very highest will be about almost 2.2 GR. Gleam Ikazune in this case maybe about 1.5 GR. Everything else, I'll put up the values. You'll know what's what, but overall, the GR in demand is not going to be the strongest suit. I mean, we're not even pushing, I think, almost 20 GR, so keep that in mind. We're not even close to that range. Major thumbs down. But with this being said, let's wrap this straight up. Alrighty guys, that's going to be it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, and join our Discord server. While you're at it, go join Reliable Values as they provide a lot of, obviously, as they say, reliable values. I'd also recommend their community because they've been very responsive and very helpful through a lot of value discussions. But don't just stop there. Head on over to my TikTok because yes, Unk does post on his TikTok, so every now and then, just go check it out. I mean, yeah, sometimes the re-uploads from here, but hey, you know, just watch it. Be supportive, you know what I mean? And for those that haven't already, major shout outs to you. And lastly, head on over to my group because obviously, yes, I am doing some, you know, Robux merch and all that stuff, so go check that out. We're also trying to drop the Gleamy Halloween Dust Kit and the NOLI set as soon as possible. So if you guys want to buy those, make sure to go join that right now. Probably I'll put up a little sneak peek if I haven't already done so on my Discord server within this past weekend. So go check that out if you're interested. And with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy. Remember, pineapples are vegetables. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Stay safe. Peace.